welcome to Oakville Matters. Thanks to Kojiko, your TV, this is the opportunity we have to talk about the things that matter to Oakville the most. And today, I'm joined by Maureen Healey, Doug Sams, Adrienne Gordon, and Doug Greco. The first three are the leaders of the business improvement associations in our town in Bronte, Kerr, and downtown Oakville. And Doug is the force of nature behind every successful restaurant in Bronte. I hope that's not causing you any embarrassment, Doug.
Very kind, Mayor. Thank you.
Hey, I've been to your restaurants. They're very good.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
I'm an equal opportunity restaurateur. I go to all restaurants, and they're all good. But Doug's are good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, you know, I hear as I go around town a lot of concern on your behalfs for the businesses of our BIAs. Our town really values I'll call it the small town village feel that we get in our business districts. I mean, we have shopping centers and everybody patronizes the shopping centers, and you know, they don't want them to suffer you know, they want them to succeed too. But people really care about their little village environments. We had a town manager once who used to describe the BIAs as shopping centers without the landlord having control. So, you know, think about it. In the shopping center, as I understand it, the operator of the shopping center can tell you what your hours are. And you three from the BIAs, have you ever had any luck telling anybody what hours to be open? No.
Never,
right?
never.
Doug, would you listen if they did?
Well, we certainly have some rules and regulations that we have to follow, Mayor. So we always try and do our best that way. But BIA is always very helpful with recommendations.
Yeah, my wife and her girlfriends are always complaining to me that the shops they want to go to are never open when they want to go there, and that's been an ongoing dinner table conversation forever. So how are we bearing up under COVID? I hope that you know, things will be better someday, and no one will ever have to look at this a year from now. But for now, how are we doing? And why don't we start with you in Bronte, Maureen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd say it's a bit of a mixed bag. Restaurants like Doug's and others have done really well this summer. The weather was definitely in our favor. The new patio program that the town was able to fast track for us and enable to use municipal and private property really helped. But of course, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but now that the weather has changed, it will really be up for grabs as to if people are still going to be outside shopping in our main streets or how those small businesses are going to fare.
And what about the ever eclectic Kerr Street Village, Doug?
Well, our merchants have been very resilient. They found a way to get it done, and with assistance from the town, having the opportunity to have the patios and the takeout and delivery and all the things that go with it has been kind of helped them get through the tougher times. Now with winter approaching and extending the patio season, we shall see how that works. We'll get some warmer weather this week. Like I was on a phone conference last week, and like somebody brought up, it's just a mindset. You go up to Blue Mountain in Collingwood and people are dining outside in January, February in the winter months, and they have heavier clothes on, and they just said it's a mindset and it's just a different part of the lifestyle. So, you know, our merchants are glad that they have the opportunity and the option to make that happen, to assist them. And some of them seem to be doing quite well. And it's been a great support to have from the local community.
What a great idea. Adrienne, what about downtown? The great idea being, we'll hand out ski toques or something and say, enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Mayor. I definitely echo what Doug was saying there in terms of resilience. Resilience and collaboration that we've seen, you know, during the last couple of months has been amazing. How frankly, the community and the merchants have banded together. I think, again, as mentioned with the extension of the patio program, I think it's about just continuing to offer our merchants and our customers choice, and really the ability to, whether for dining, it's dine-in or patio, takeout or delivery. It's about really, being able to support our local businesses in that choice and providing that safe environment where folks can really come down and shop and dine with confidence in downtown Oakville.
Well, that's good to hear. I don't want to only talk about restaurants, but before I try to shift the topic to the retail, let's call it, Doug, I'm anxious to know what are your plans for the winter?
Well, thanks, Mr. Mayor. As everyone has already mentioned, I think you did a fabulous job with fast tracking the patios for us, getting everything up and running for the summer. Christine Tizard and her team, Dorothy St. George, everything that she's done. We probably would have, a lot of restaurants would have been a lot more trouble if we didn't get that fast track done. And I'm still in disbelief how quickly we got everything done and you got your team into action. I mean, we all benefited from that. What the winter is going to hold is going to be anybody's guess at this point in time. We're still all trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen with tents, cold weather, heating the tents, if we're able to heat the tents. And I know that's going through Oakville Fire and the building department right now. But I think if we can start looking at how we build some of those structures. I mean, I was even asking about a wind wall around one of our patios so that we can use the mushroom heaters outside. And so we're still looking at all those things through the town. But I think, the customers have been great. Our clients have been great. They've been very supportive. And, we're starting our Bring Your Own Blanket program this week at the restaurant, so we can get you out there for a little bit longer. And we're doing our very best to ensure that everybody has a great time out there without the Blue Mountain price tag.
The Blue Mountain experience without the Blue Mountain bill. Hey,
that's right.
The marketing concept.
Right.
Well, I'm very pleased to have been able to get the town to move at the speed of business. And as a retired businessman myself, I'm very proud of the town for that. I like your wind wall idea. In Adrienne's BIA on Navy Street, there's a restaurant that put up. It's not really a wind wall. It's more like some hangings that blocked the wind. And my wife really loved that. She found it to be just enough to make a windy day way more tolerable there. I'm concerned about all the experts say that over winter, the threat from COVID could be greater. And so we are going to be under, I think, a lot of public health guidance. And your wind wall idea makes more sense than an enclosed tent. I'm anxious that the public health folks might want something like two sides of a tent open, which is barely a tent anymore.
Right.
So the mushroom heaters are starting to sound really good to me, and the wind wall idea. I think you're onto something there.
We'll certainly see.
So Maureen, in a couple of cases with the digital Main Street, we've had some amazing success stories. I know of a fashion shop that's having a better year, that's had a better year this year than the previous year. And I also know of a bakery reporting better results than last year, which is counterintuitive because you hear about COVID and you think, oh, well, it's terrible. What are you finding in your district around retail? Is retail taking advantage of digital Main Street? Basically getting for the viewer, this is the idea that you should have a website to sell from and keep your relationship with your customers going. Maureen?
Digital Main Street is an amazing program, in particular for small businesses that have taken advantage of it. So I'll give a shout out. I'll name names. So Lakeside Living is a great example. Rose has taken advantage of the funding opportunities there twice. She's fast-tracked her business plan by 3 years by going online sooner rather than later. So during COVID, she was able to sell do curbside pickup, and maintain her sales. Not at the same level, but still maintain her brand presence and her sales. So those that are taking advantage, and we push it hard, Digital Main Street, are really seeing a difference. And God forbid, if we should have to go back a stage, they'll be prepared. So the more we can push Digital Main Street, and there's also private partnerships. So Look Local Marketplace is a new online marketplace where you don't even have to have sales happening on your website, but you could do it through this private opportunity for free for 3 months to try it as well. So any way we can get people omni-channel, so in-person, digital, I think they're going to fare better.
Yeah, one of Adrienne's shopkeepers told me what sounded to me like a really sound business principle that's seeing her through. She said that she always maintained a business model where she was keeping a personal relationship with her customers, and when COVID hit, she reached out to them like a friend would to make sure that the relationship stayed strong, and she served them privately and by appointment. And I thought, now there's the definition of initiative and enterprise. Adrienne, you're the brand new executive director of the Oakville BIA, and I'm sure that Maureen and Doug welcome you to the fraternity or the sorority, whichever one. I guess it's we'll have to get something besides a Greek analogy going here. But anyway, you're welcome to the club, I'm sure. How are your merchants finding Digital Main Street?
Yeah, so absolutely been very warmly welcomed, and collaborating across the BIA since I've been here has been really amazing. The time I spent over the last couple of weeks out and talking to folks in our town about how their business is doing, how Digital Main Street has supported them. So we had over 100 businesses convert within those first couple months when the service was offered. And it's been amazing to hear a lot of the success stories that have gone on. And so in order to support a lot of that, because many of the folks who have started the service, what we've found is that they're looking for how they evolve the service and continue to build as they go through new times and the next year. So we're trying to find ways here where we can extend the life cycle of their Main Street. So our holiday guide, as an example, for the first year now is going virtual. In order to support our retail merchants down there, we're offering a virtual platform that allows them to transact in the method of choice by the retailer. So example, the one that you mentioned there, if you're featured in the virtual guide, then you'd be able to directly connect to Susan, as an example, by phone as her method of choice for a conversation with her customers. So it's been really interesting in finding out meeting them where they're at and finding new and innovative ways to support them as we head into the holiday season.
And Doug, on Kerr Street, have people also responded to, I mean, on one level, Digital Main Street sounded to me like fighting Amazon by developing an Amazon side of your business. So the Amazonification of your business is part of beating Amazon, if you will. Is that what you're finding?
Well, we've had a couple of success stories. We had a large number of retail merchants that applied and received the Digital Main Street grant that upped their game, so to speak, with an online presence. Now, we had a business when I first came here, Grandma's Little Darling. She was a dress shop for kids and worked out of the room in the back of a cleaner's right up on Spears. But her 80% of her sales were via website. So then you have Oakville Taxi. They received a Digital Main Street grant and they upped their game. They became very big players on Instagram. And in fact, when I went down there to visit, he was showing me some of his Instagram posts. Same with Lucy's Dress Shop on Kerr Street. She's been a fixture for many years. And one of the things that Digital Main Street did to her, it got her website updated, up and running. It got her a presence on Instagram. So there's just a bunch of success stories. And the other factor in the whole thing, the success of the program, the fact that the three BIAs went together on it, and also the town went in with us on it, was very important, because we've taken advantage through the town and the 3 BIAs. We've had a digital Main Street service squad now going on 2 years. So we're able to call them and say, hey, could you go help this business? And that's been a big, big plus, is to have feet on the streets. And I think it's been a very, very successful initiative.
All right. So, Doug, does the restaurant industry, I mean, I guess takeout is the obvious digital Main Street angle for you. Is that happening? Is takeout becoming a factor for you?
Certainly in our industry, everything's changed. Certainly upside down, I would say, when it comes to takeout and pickup. With all the restaurants that we have down in Bronte, what we did when we first got closed down was we moved all of our teams into one restaurant and produced everything out of one restaurant, rather than having each and every restaurant open and trying to produce and deal with the staff at every level there. So we had quite a bit of success, and now we've just finally went with skip the dishes now with all of our restaurants, and that'll be starting in another week or so, and hopefully that'll help us get through the winter months. But I think it's here to stay. It's going to be a huge part of what we're doing in the future, and if we can just negotiate good terms with all of these third-party delivery services, I think we might get through it okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear that note and what you said, because one of the anxieties I've had about those services is how big a cut they take, and whether they really wind up helping you or not. I must say, I enjoy going to restaurants, and no one's more terrified of the virus than I am. I'm the right age to be afraid of it, but I have found a great sense of safety in our Oakville restaurants. I can't think of one where I'm not comfortable. And I know how to turn around, and I like to live. I know how to turn around and leave if a place doesn't look right.
Right.
But I've been very proud of the way all Oakville businesses have been behaving.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. I think that you hit the nail on the head there when you talked about everyone should have their own risk evaluation when they're going into a business. And if you walk into a business and you don't feel that it's comfortable for you, nothing says that you have to stay there and that you can't turn around and walk out. Well, we find with the restaurants, sometimes we get people that are in a little bit too early. They're still very worried about COVID. And we have people asking for, a private room for 4 people, and obviously we can't do that as a business, but we've had all kinds of strange requests already. Can you hang my coat separately? We don't want it in the coat room. We want it in a separate room. Our own waiter, not looking after anyone other than our table. So, some people are just coming out a little bit too early, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, again, with restaurants in Oakville and Bronte, certainly, and in downtown Oakville, what I've seen is I think operators are really stepping up. I can only attest to the restaurants. When I'm not working, I'm trying to take my wife out for dinner and get around and support other businesses. And from what I see, I think everyone's doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, I was in an Oakville restaurant the other day, last week, and I watched as the manager, a lovely lady, took on 8 teenagers who were misbehaving and not being COVID sensitive. Right? She asked them politely to behave. They gave her lip, and she said, "You know what? You don't have to be here. You can leave right now." And she escorted them out. And they're lucky she didn't call their moms.
Right.
I was proud of her.
Well, we certainly have something like that in our restaurants, where we have scanners in all the restaurants now. When you arrive, it scans for your temperature, and you put your face to the front of the basically an iPad, and it's scanning for your temperature. And we've had a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like the thought of being scanned and a photograph taken of my face and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to come in if that's what you're going to do. And we say, unfortunately, you can't come in if you're not prepared to do that, because we want to keep safety in mind for the rest of the guests that are out dining, but also for all of our staff and employees.
You know, hearing that, I can't help wonder who wouldn't want their picture. Oh, unless they're seeing somebody that they don't want somebody else to know that they're seeing. I guess, oh yeah, maybe that still goes on in Oakville. And then where are you going to go except a restaurant?
That's right.
What happens at the restaurant stays at the restaurant, I guess, is the motif. So as we look ahead, Maureen, what would you identify as the #1 objective for the winter, or the #1 need?
I think it's to get people outside. So that's the beauty of a BIA. It's an outside Main Street, back to your example of the mall. So people can be outside, they just need to dress for the weather, and they can window shop, they can go into the stores, they can do takeout. Bronte, we have the advantage of having the beautiful waterfront there. And I'll put a plug in that we weren't able to do the At Home in Bronte Muskoka chair project in the summer because people couldn't gather to paint the chairs. So we've actually hired professional painters to paint the chairs, and we're going to put them out at the end of November. So people will be able to go and look at the art installation, grab a coffee, sit outside, walk around, do a bit of a scavenger hunt with each of the chairs. So whatever we can do to get people outside for mental and physical health, as well as our business health, I think that's going to sustain us through the next few months.
What about you, Doug? As in Doug Sams, what is the #1 need or the #1 objective for your BIA over the winter?
Well, I'd have to echo what Maureen said. We got to try to still get people down to our area, promote it, encourage them. It's kind of a mindset. Hey, put your winter stuff on. It's okay to be outside, breathe the fresh air, and support and shop local. So it really doesn't change. It's just a little bit more of an inconvenience, and hopefully we'll get some unseasonably warm days.
Well, as you know, my father's a retired meteorologist, and I've put in an order for an extended visit of a second summer later this week.
Great. We got the right guy in charge of weather then.
That's
right.
Never fail. Adrienne, you know, one of your shopkeepers said to me the other day, you know, during the last 2.5 weeks when I've been fighting to keep our restaurants from being shut down by the province, I was doing an interview with one of the television networks near a restaurant, but in front of a shop, a retail shop. And the retailer, the shopkeeper, she came up to me, and she was the proper distance, and she said to me, "You need to make the point that the rest of us retail depend upon the restaurants being open and attracting people, because they bring the people downtown that we then, you know, pitch our shops to and sell our products to." So I thought that was worth making, and so far, touch wood, we've managed to keep open. This week, the province has announced a much more detailed program for how you tell when you get moved from one status to another, and we're, for now, sticking right in the middle of that. So that's a good sign. The new program that the province has brought out is designed to be really easy to understand, so that those teenagers, for example, that I mentioned a second ago, will understand that if they don't behave, they're going to drag their whole entire community closer to lockdown and hurt all kinds of people's livelihoods, and hopefully they'll be responsible enough to you know, not want to harm the place where they live. I remember being a teenager, and sometimes being a teenager, it can be challenging to think like that. But you know, if there's no place to go, that might be a drag. So maybe it'll make them think. Adrienne, what about the #1 need for the downtown? Aside from as I understand it, in 3 weeks we've got Santa coming.
That's right. We do. Santa is still making an appearance in a new and innovative way. And I think for us, as I echo my partners at the BIA, for us, it's all about experience. I think to your point about retailers depending on restaurants and vice versa, is the customer experience and journey down here for us in downtown Oakville is really a multitude of touch points that happen. And what we're trying to do throughout our holiday season is create, a hometown holiday campaign that allows and encourages folks to come down, safely stroll outside, support local, and have an ability to enjoy the beautiful new opening and decor that's going to happen. So we're very focused on the things we can do and making that a great experience for all.
Well, I'm looking forward on everybody's behalf to the construction being over in the downtown, and get you back on a firm footing, or let's call it an equal footing with everybody else. And Santa, I've been saying to staff, Santa's coming November 21st to inspect the finished work. And, I hope everybody hears it that way. Well, I want to congratulate you for the leadership that each of you has given in your BIAs. And Doug Greco, as much as I've enjoyed being able to get into your restaurants without having to line up as often as I used to have to line up in order to get into your restaurants, I do wish you lineups again in the future. And I hope that all of you will keep well and stay safe. And please let me know of any chance to be helpful. And I want to thank you for watching today. And I hope that you'll join us next time when we talk about Oakville Matters.